Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about Radiant Virtue, probably the most niche and probably the least built mythic, I'm going to presume. It might have a higher pick rate this patch because of it's just a new item, but overall this item is too niche and hopefully it will get changed for the better, but right now the item suffers greatly from being too team reliant. So it will either become a pro problem and they'll have to nerf it, or it won't become a pro problem and no one will build it. Something like Vigilant Wardstone, which by the way isn't a bad item per se, but why would you build Vigilant Wardstone when you could build certain other items on the champs which can build it? If you're not like utilizing the control wood passive on it particularly well and stuff like this. It's items which are conditional, which kind of struggle to ever find places within the game, unless they are conditional in a way where they counter a huge amount of champions. So we're going to look at Radiant Virtue. It's going to be hard to figure out who can use this item effectively and who can't, because game sample sizes are so small. So we'll start from the bottom and we'll go up as per usual. Quinn won't build this item. It's got 3 games. She won all of them, but 3 games in a patch where she's had 5,000 plus, 6,300 games. So the way I look at data is I take Plat plus higher. I use that data for win rates and stuff like that, and then I apply that with like game knowledge and perception of strength, combined with biases within the data, and then that's usually how I end up with conclusions. So we're gonna move on to Silas, who probably won't build this item either, but with the way the ult cooldown works, there is a chance that it could at some point in the near future be built on him, but unlikely. It's not got stats he particularly wants, and even if he could use it particularly well, he would rather just... You're picking Silas to be a damage threat with good ults to steal. You wouldn't suddenly turn yourself into a tank for no reason, basically. For like very limited reason. Kennen won't run this item. Kennen's also way too AP ratio driven, so that one won't happen. Camille's another one, won't build this item. The thing with this item is its stats are just tank driven, and if you can't make use of the stats really, then it's just not going to be good on you. So it's really easy just to take a bunch of champions and just know that this item isn't going to be good on them. So we'll just start moving them up. You know what? Karma is a champion which it might work on, actually, though. There is a chance Karma might be one of the few runners of this item. I'm guessing Nah has no games on it either. Yeah, not really. Won most of them. The item might not be weak, but it might be that the data is so low that it's kind of hard to tell if the item's strong or not, because it might only be built by good players who know where to play it, or it could be built by bad players and it's just overpowered as it's like the strongest item in the game, but no one would really know because it's hardly built and no one really wants to talk about it because it's too niche. Wukong, another ratio driven champion, won't really want to run a supportive tank mythic. What we're really looking for is champions which kind of their roles within the top lane is more supportive, but then like there's so few of them. Jarvan could run it possibly, but it's an ult cool, like it's built around ultimate, and I don't know, you'd want to go Goldrinker with the time on Jarvan, so yeah, Goldrinker is just his best. I will keep adding him to this list. There are probably Jarvan top players out there. Not a lot of them. He only has like 540 games. It's very, very unpopular to think that Quinn has almost 12 times the games of it. It's so niche, and I'm gonna take Jarvan off. Jarvan is not a top laner at the moment. I'm sorry, he just isn't. He's a fairly easy to do. you can just take out so many of the top laners with this item because you know they just won't ever run it. Yep, that's another one. Okay, we're already halfway through the well, we're almost nearly halfway through the top lane pool, and maybe we come across the first jump. Karma might not be bad with this item. It wins games. It's very very rare. Karma top is about half as popular as Quinn top, so that kind of gives you an idea of how unpopular the champion is. Looks like Roa's her best top mythic still. Then Iceborne doesn't have a positive win rate in the top lane. Has a positive win rate support, but this is top lane tier list, so I'm gonna put in can work. There are better options. If it was played more, it'd be easy to tell. But Karma herself isn't played a lot in the top lane, so I mean, it would be nice to see Karma. I shouldn't say that. It would be nice to see Karma come back to the top lane. I didn't mind playing Karma top, but then it's very anti-fun, pro-driven utility champion. So yeah, it wouldn't be healthy for the game. Set won't run it. I can tell you that. Once again, another champion kind of ratio-driven. Has 255 games, won 58% of them, but then you look at Triforce, which is almost triple that, around a higher win rate. So yeah, it's something, I guess. You can also go in the E tier. I don't know any champions which will actually run this item as a main. I don't think there is any. Nasus is Sheen driven. It's not a Sheen item. It's a tank mythic, so you won't run it. Yorick is Sheen driven or lethality driven. Won't run it either. It's not looking good for this item. Yeah, like how a new item to have 7 games on something like Yorick. I get, okay, I mean, like, he has 12k games, but like 7 of those, is that it for Radiant Virtue? No one's gonna actually even give it a chance. Fair enough. Vladimir, no, he's ratio driven. Or like very high health driven. Even then, Heart still isn't great on him, so, or isn't good on him, so it wouldn't be Vladimir. Mundo! Not really. It's his second most built mythic. It's higher than Jack Show. It's got a higher win rate, but I think you're gonna run Heart still 90% of the time. And maybe Iceborne or Triforce the other 10%. Even though they don't really have many games. I don't really see it. Gragas is probably not going to run this item either. Nope. Tank Gragas is really kind of fallen out of favour though. It's nowhere near as popular as it used to be. Like, he has some games with the tank mythics, but they're not great and it just doesn't look like he's performing. I mean, I don't think he has a good tank mythic this season, so we probably won't see it. Renekton's also ratio driven. He won't run it. 510 games. How many games has he got this patch? I mean, it's 156th of them, and he has a 57% win rate with it. I guess you could make an argument that Renekton might work with it. I'll put him above because maybe. I really want to find one champion which runs this as their main. I don't know anyone. I have seen this item like 3 times since it's gone live. I've never built it myself. Darius won't run this item either. Either Stradebreaker or Triforce. It's just his best 2 mythics by far. Volibear probably won't run this either. Will most likely run Iceborne, Heartsteel, or I mean he runs Cinderella, Jack. He is a couple of options. I wonder how Roa also performs on him. It's a high health, high AP item. Volibear has pretty nice AP ratios on his passive, especially for just going all out with the attack speed. That's why Riftmaker Volibear works. But I don't think it would work. Yoon. Probably won't run this item either. Jax most likely won't run it either. Nope. You know, for a very healthy item, you want at least like 3 or 4 in the S tier, and then like a 5 in A, 6, 6 kind of thing. It's not looking great. This is when I think we come to a conclusion that the item's either really gonna be pro skewed, or it's really not gonna be built. Yeah, I know. It's looking like a null item right now. I'll probably do a reevaluated tier list tomorrow. I want to get some things cleaned up because I have Jace way too low. I still don't know why I put Jace in Eater. I just wasn't really paying attention. I still thought the champ was kind of bad, but I know he got buffed a couple of times, and the resistances scaling with AD bonus AD actually makes him kind of not as bad, I guess. He still loses to a decent amount of things, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I think Swain's on it can work on. I think Swain could possibly run it. Maybe not top, but Swain might be able to run it. Once again, Poppy is another champ which could maybe run it. It's 24 games out of 6,000, so it's impossible to tell, but Poppy is a champ I could see running the item. Benefits from CDR, benefits from health, benefits from the healing, can be used as a team bot kind of thing. Alawi will not run this item. Just doesn't really have a use for her. Argot won't run this item either. Doesn't really have a great use for him. The problem with it is there's not enough champs which want tanky. The reason why there's not a lot of tanks with good healing and team properties is because they would become too pro dominant. Which is why an item completely built around the idea of a tank being team orientated is a horrible idea. So I don't know why this item ever ended up going live. It's a cool idea, but in the game state we're in, like how solo queue is the main kind of environment for all of these things, it's very unlikely. I think Malphite's someone who could maybe run it as well. Health, resistances. It's a different item he can go other than Jack Show. It's more team orientated, so there maybe a what Malphite runs it. Aurelia won't run it. Aurelia is a pretty good Jack Show user, so that one's definitely worth testing. Yeah, the win rate of Jack Show Aurelia goes up every day because the item got buffed halfway through the patch. So yeah, that's definitely something worth trying. Cho'Gath won't run it because Cho'Gath is not really someone who needs more max health. When a champion has a lot of health, the problem with building more and more health, unless they have like scalers within their kit, which benefits them having more max health, they just become. They need damage to balance, or like resistances to balance out the health. So you have to be able to balance everything up. And if your item is giving you health when you're already like an 8,000 health juggernaut, and the enemy team has percentage max health items, it doesn't help you from the problems you're going to be facing. Mordekaiser won't run it either. It doesn't really have many. I like the fact that it takes Jack Show's build path as well, because it allows a choice, but because of the way it works, and that it's not a selfish item, it's an item which provides for the team. This item is a support item, but too expensive for a support item, and supports aren't going to be building Jack Show either, so as nice as it is having them as the same recipe, it doesn't really help any champions, because it's not a choice at the end of the day. If you're going Jack Show, you're going Jack Show. Maybe Zach? Who knows? Zac Top is also kind of a dying thing right now. It doesn't seem to be anywhere near as played as it used to be. 10% of games on it does have a high win rate, like 59% win rate high. Zac's someone who likes having health because Zac's, I think it's W. Oh no, I think it's Zac's Q which scales with health. Yeah, Zac's W is percentage AP scaling. Zac's Q is health. Plus his R and then his bloblets when you pick them up give him more health when you yeah, give him more health when he well, as he gains more health. So yeah, I can see Zac being a champion which can run it. I think it's a can work. Once again, small sample size. Zac himself isn't really played top lane. Shen is the premier supportive tank, bar maybe Ornn, I guess, and like really high peelers or like large amounts of peel. It's not even like his 4th best, so I guess it can work. Sejuani is someone I could see it working on if you're going a more supportive Sejuani build. Yeah, I think it's a can work. I want to be able to put these two in one of their best, but it's so hard to do that when they have so few games top at the moment. Which sucks, because Sejuani top was almost played more than Sejuani jungle at one point, but now it's really swung back to Sejuani jungle. It spiked in popularity when Worlds happened. Sejuani jungle started coming back into favour. Singed maybe? Likes to be in the middle of the game, or like middle of the team. I think it's an option on Singed. I think it can go around here. Tom top, maybe. He's a supportive unit. Yeah, Jackshow is still his best though, so I guess yeah, it's more of a can work. Cassante is tied to Jackshow. I'm pretty sure Cassante won't build anything other than Jackshow or Iceborne, I guess. That's kind of the other option if you're into an AD comp. Has a good win rate of 52%, but less than 1% play rate. I'll put him in C. Very low play rate. Maokai might run it as a top laner. I think it's an option as Maokai. I think it can work. I don't think it would work on Sion though. Sion wants Titanic very early into the game, and that makes him kind of bound to them. Yeah, to think that building or playing Sion, that Titanic is the only thing which really has any play rate as a second item on Sion. Is only positive win rate item. Just shows how hard bound to Titanic Sion is as a champion, which I'm fine with, but it feels bad when you're really limited on choices. Because if you're not going Titanic second on Sion, which a lot of people aren't, weirdly enough, Titanic used to be a lot more popular second on Sion. It's only 6% at the moment, which is really low for a champion which should be building this item almost, I'd say 95% of the time second item. It's so strong on him. Like, if you're playing Sion, build Titanic. He needs it. Don't build it first because you kind of want to ramp into it. I mean, you can even build it first. It's probably his best first item at the moment. So yeah, definitely build Titanic on Sion. Very, very strong item. But very few games on Radiant Virtue. I think it's probably like a C tier. So yeah, that's it for Radiant Virtue. The item's too niche. It needs to be changed. I don't think a item which isn't designed purely for support and takes the same build path as a different tank item can ever work as a top lane supportive tank item, because it will either become too pro dominant or it won't see any pro games and it won't see any normal queue games. So it will be interesting to see how this item develops. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. Thank you for all the support. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Yeah. See you in the next one. Goodbye.